You were saying, let's talk about the main event.
Yeah, so
Lyoto Machida versus Luke Rockhold. What was your take, sir?
Well, let me tell you the walkout music. So, Luke Rockhold comes out first, and he comes out to the "You're the Best Around," the theme song from the Karate Kid. You're the best around.
Oh shit!
I
I remember that song. Can we play that right now?
Around.
Should I look it up?
No. Copyright. Fuck you. Strike one. 3 and you're fucked. Lyoto Machida comes out to Jump Around from House of Pain.
Wow. Okay.
What the fuck?
You think Rockhold came out to that because like the mock Machida?
Yes.
He did.
He said it afterwards because he did the same thing when he came out against Bisbing. I forgot what the song was. Something fucking Battle of New Orleans or whatever it was, just to fuck with him. So his a walkout music game is high. He wins on walkout music.
Nice.
And then did you notice Machida's body type?
Yes.
Like a little bit different.
We were talking about this before we started taping. Yeah, I feel like, to me, it seemed like he had a very terrible weight cut. Whether it was
I'm gonna post that little video of the gross weight cut.
Just like disgusting amount of water being sucked out of him, really close to weigh-in time, which usually means that they had a problem with it. And from looking at his body type, when normally Machida is very lean and cut, I feel like there potentially was an injury during camp or something that caused him to not be able to cut the fat properly.
Yeah, look at him when he fought. I'm gonna post a picture when he fought Weidman and when he fought Dalloway, how ripped he was. And then you look at chubby Machida here. Yeah. I'm not saying the guy was on the sauce for those two fights, and then maybe, Anderson Silva pops for steroids, and then he might be a little concerned about doing steroids. And then he also comes out and says, I think a 2-year ban for steroids is a little too harsh. So I'm not accusing him of being on the sauce and not on the sauce. I'm just thinking maybe he was injured.
No
That's
sauce.
all I'm saying.
No sauce.
Michael Bisping, is he on the sauce? No news. No sauce. No sauce. No news.
No. I think Machida's pretty clean. But
I agree with that.
I definitely think that something happened during camp, some sort of injury or something, because he's one of the guys that I look at and go, he is a true martial artist. I don't think he would disrespect himself or his opponent by coming in out of shape. So there must have been a legitimate reason, why he couldn't cut that fat. And yeah, I think he had about 90 seconds where he looked pretty darn impressive, and then it just went downhill.
He didn't look as fast as he used to be, and even Rockhold was talking about it. I said, I thought he'd be faster in exchanges. I was a little, nervous, not scared, but a little maybe hesitant to, exchange with him. And he caught him. And then once it hit the ground, we're like at different speeds. Rockhold's running 100 miles per hour, and fucking Machida's driving in reverse. Yep. It was just night and day difference between the ground game. It was very weird. And then right at the end of the round, Rockhold delivers he's got Machida's head pinned and hits him with a solid elbow, just absorbs all of it to the point where round 1 ends and Machida barely makes it back to his corner at that point.
Yes, sir.
And then there's some weird controversy that I don't think a lot of people have picked up on, that when Machida came out for round 2, 1, he looked a little punch drunk. 2, he didn't have a mouthpiece in.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Because there was a point where he's on the ground, he's pointing to his mouth.
Oh, really? I didn't catch
are we trying to cheat here? What's going on? Is he trying to, get them? That was right before he snuck the rear naked choke in. Was curious.
Little conspiracy theory?
I don't know. It's being circulated.
Mistake.
And I don't think anybody expected that to go the way it did. Fuck.
I thought Machida would have won for sure. I mean, I picked him to win, hands down. I thought it wouldn't. I thought it would be a pretty good matchup. Thought it'd be fight of the year, but apparently I was wrong on that.
Well, I thought the striking. I thought we were gonna get more. More engaging, and no one has done this to Machida.
No.
The only other person you look at, Jones even lost that first round against him before he choked him unconscious with that walk-off, like, guillotine. Drop you off. Fuck, who does that? Rockhold.
I guess I don't I don't know what to say. It's hard for me to. It could be the young old thing again. It seems like there's a definite difference, and perhaps it is what you say, and that a lot of the guys have been doing performance enhancing things, and unfortunately, as you age, those things are required more to compete, and maybe we'll start seeing less and less fighters being successful in their mid to upper 30s now because of the ban.
The quality is going to go down for sure. You're not going to get the same performance out of some of these fighters that you've been accustomed to in the past. It's just that's a fact. Not saying that Machida's on anything, but it's a general statement that quality of the fights is going to go down regardless. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, how old is Rockhold?
I want to say he's like 30.
30, yeah.
He's relatively
like 10
young.
Years younger almost, yeah.
And
big difference.
He also, there's a couple things going on with him. He wasn't 100%. He had bronchitis pretty much probably a couple weeks. And then he also was surfing and hit his head on a rock. And that's why he had that bald spot. Because during the fight, I'm going, God damn, this is a handsome man. Why is he balding? Why is he balding? He's like, no, you know what they did? They fucking super glued him, Ingo. Yeah. Why couldn't they super glue a head as his ear? You can super glue a head pre-fight, but you can't super glue a fucking ear in fight.
So what, he had a bloody head?
Yeah. Super glued that he didn't give a shit. He's still on.
Okay.
I like this guy.
Yeah. He's
on point, man.
He's got a lot going on. Isn't he dating like Ariani or something?
Who?
Ariani? I thought he was dating Ariani.
I don't know. He kept looking at Paige Van Zandt like he wants a piece of the pie. He might be a little too young for you. Just
young and like about 70 pounds lighter.
You're going to break that.
It's a big weight difference.
You're going to break that. So next because now we're in this weird position because you have Jacare, who's the #1 contender, but didn't get to fight Yoel Romero, so he's kind of in a weird position. Now you have Rockhold, who completely dominated Machida, and I don't know, I think Rockhold was ranked 4, Machida was ranked 2.
Yes.
So that should make Rockhold the #1 contender in my book.
No.
How so? Who do you think fights?
Jacare.
Oh, why?
Because he didn't lose. He dominated his opponent in dominating fashion.
Well, he should have.
So it's like you can't be downgraded when you dominate.
You can. You know why?
How? Level of competition?
Yes, and Rockhold has beaten Jacare in the past back in Strikeforce. I know some people will say it was a controversial decision, but it doesn't matter. It was a win.
Ages ago. That sounds like MMA math.
It does, but we got to see, first off, is Weidman going to beat Belfort because they're still supposed to fight in May. And it was funny because they had all these guys on the set. You had Ariel Helwani, Brian Stan, Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, and Chris Weidman, and they're all up on stage, blah, blah, blah. And Cormier is asking Rockhold, he said, if Vitor Belfort was, to get injured, would you be willing to step up on short notice and fight Chris Weidman? Like, yeah, I'll do it. Asked Weidman the same thing. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. But really, the rumor is that MMA is going to become legal in New York sometime in December. So they're planning to have a UFC card at that time. Rockhold saying, hey, Weidman, you beat Belfort. Let's do this thing in fucking Madison Square Garden.
Hell yeah.
East Coast, West Coast.
Or you could have Jacare fight.
You're still gonna go with the Jacare?
Well, there's a lot. Fucking December. That's a long way away.
Well, you got the May fight.
Why don't you have Rockhold and Jacare fight each other in June?
I don't want to have them fight again because the problem is you have two guys that are ready for a title shot, and if you pit them up against each other, you're gonna ruin a title shot for one of them.
So what does Jacare or Luke Rockhold do in the meantime? Just holding pattern?
Yes, I think Rockhold holding pattern. I think Jacare gets the Yoel Romero fight. I know it's shit, but I think that's a more sellable fight right now. I think the people At least
Jacare
on my
Yo
side.
Romero,
You're going to
like,
go.
July-ish.
Sure.
And if he wins, then he gets a title
Sure.
shot over Luke Rockhold?
No, I'm still saying Luke Rockhold.
How can you say that?
Because he fucking dominated Machida. Show me who else dominated Machida.
John Jones.
He lost the first round.
Yeah, but pretty dominating victory.
In the second round.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a Luke Rockhold camp.
Okay.
So we're gonna agree to disagree. Ingo thinks Jacare.
Yes.
Matt's gonna say Luke Rockhold. UFC is very non-committal on this because they know they should give it to Jacare, but they're probably gonna give it to Rockhold.
That's bullshit.
I don't think so.
Blasphemy.
I don't think so. And then I like what Rockhold said too, because you gotta appreciate Cormier, who's up in a suit, calling, or I don't know what his role is. If he's not a commentator, but he's talking about the fights during the show, and then he runs down to corner Rockhold in his suit, and then Rockhold says, "It's nice to have a suited corner. It makes you look proper." Like, that's pretty cool. You have him up there. He's got the gloves on, and there's a nice photo of Rockhold screaming as he wins, and Cormier in the background, like, "Yeah, they're all buds." Maybe that's the thing. I think he's starting a trend, running down like that.
Suited corner?
Yes.
Nice.
The suited corner. Where?